We just got a whole lot of insane news for the upcoming Vision Quest show that doesn't just include the return of James Spader's Ultron, but the introduction of a new robotic moment, insane story details, and the return of a very familiar Marvel face. And all I gotta say is boom! You looking for this? And you know me, I get crumbs and I make a full course meal. Either way, me and you know what we gotta do. We gotta talk about it. And ever since it was announced that Vision was going to be getting his own show, everybody and their mama was excited to see it because it was going to be a follow-up to WandaVision. But then in August of last year, my hype shot through the roof because we got the return of James Spader as Ultron in his show. I used to pray for times like that because I think a lot about meteors. But then we got hit with another Woj bomb because according to Nexus Point News, they are exclusively reporting that Marvel Studios is set to include Jocasta in the upcoming Vision Quest series. But not only that, the character has already been cast, but the identity of the actress is being kept under wraps. But we did get some casting details for the character, which indicate that Marvel Studios was looking to cast a black actress in her 40s to 60s for the role. And this age range is very interesting because it means that this would make her an ally or a contemporary to James Spader's Ultron, who, like I mentioned before, is set to have a major role in this upcoming series. And we did get a little bit of a description for Jocasta, but I mean, most of us should probably know her. But she's being described as cunning, powerful, determined, and motivated by revenge. She out here looking for revenge. So this specific description for the character could hint that there's actually a history between Ultron and Jocasta. Because mind you, we really don't even know what the circumstances are surrounding Ultron's return. For all we know, he could have been rebuilt or hibernating or hiding out, even though it was made to seem like Vision killed him. But like I always say, you never see the body or you never see the CPU. He's most likely still alive, and this series proves that. But ever since we were introduced to the if it ain't white, it ain't right vision in WandaVision, by the way, this is one of my favorite scenes. The whole ship of Theseus thing, and then he touches his forehead and gives him back all of his memories. But it was just so crazy because he was just like, I am the Vision, and he just flies away. And we ain't seen or heard about him since. Like, at some point in time, he's got to be like, where's Wanda? I love Wanda, right? I mean, now that she's technically dead in the MCU, I wonder how that's going to affect Vision. And if they do ever end up getting a reunion like this in West Coast Avengers. It's so sad that Wanda never realized that the Vision was out there with his memories back, because I feel like he could have reeled her back from what she did in Multiverse of Madness. And honestly, when we first found out that Vision was going to be getting his own show, I immediately thought, okay, this is most likely going to be adapting Tom King's The Vision comic run. It just felt really logical given where WandaVision left off. I mean, long story, it's very convoluted, but long story short, Vision basically makes his own family, kind of like Wanda did. We get introduced to fan favorite Viv, and it's just a fun little interesting look at Vision's life. Would highly recommend reading it if you haven't. But then everything changed once we found out that James Spader's Ultron was returning for this series, because now I think the Vision Quest series combined two different projects, or at least elements of another project into this one. I think whatever was supposed to happen in Armor Wars, or at least elements of that plotline, were taken and added to Vision Quest, and that's why we haven't really heard any updates and this has been put on the shelf, which is a damn shame because my man Kung Fu Kenny deserves his own project. We gotta unpack all of this. Actually, someone hit me with the Men in Black light. I don't want to forget this happened. But in all seriousness, this is actually a very interesting concept to try to tackle for Rhodey. How long was he taken? How did this affect him mentally? And can we get this War Machine look back? It's still my favorite person. Like, the first one we ever got is the hardest War Machine has ever looked. In my opinion, they've kind of just gone down and then kind of a little bit up in Infinity War and Endgame. But this right here is perfect. Obviously, with Vision being an amalgamation of Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, Jarvis, and Ultron, it makes sense that Ultron will return some way, somehow. Like, there's no way for him to be completely dead. Remember these concept arts that were leaked that were definitely fake? This is way too specific to ever be fake. Like, who would think of White Vision and Star-Lord chilling, hanging out, eating pizza and drinking beers on a couch? This is definitely for Vision Quest. And now I'm even more intrigued because that means Star-Lord's going to show up in this series some way, somehow. Maybe Vision settled in the suburbs that he went to go visit his grandpa. And that would mean this concept art of Jocasta is 1000% real. Now, mind you, Jocasta was actually teased all the way back in Avengers Age of Ultron when Tony Stark made the switch to Friday. In the background, you can actually see he has Jocasta. So maybe when Ultron came alive, he had a little scuffle with Jocasta. I don't know how, it was fucking some AI bullshit. And that's how we get that history between the two. Either that, or like he does in the comics when he tries to make the Wasp his bride by transferring her consciousness into Jocasta's body. Maybe here he just tries to make his own bride because, I don't know, he's lonely. All he'd be doing is thinking about meteors and shit. Think about some pussy. Because Ultron. Listen, hear me out. Would. But that's all the news we got on Vision Quest, and my excitement level is through the roof. It's up there with Meteors, the purity of them all. Boom, the end, start again. The world made clean for the new man to rebuild. I was meant to be new. I was meant to be beautiful. The world would have looked to the sky and seen hope, seen mercy, instead to look up in horror because of you. I think you're confusing peace with quiet. Either way, let me know what you think about this news down in the comments below, and as always, like and follow for more.